Hello there, how's today? Ame Gakita there. Alright, apparently there is a good news and a bad news in regards to things that is related to anime and mangas, and interestingly, Hero Hei actually covered both of that on the same day, and I definitely feel like there is something bigger behind the whole situation. Even though he kind of like explained in his video that both are technically similar but very different in a way. When I actually kind of was looking through his video, and I was like, seems very understandable. Like I understand from his point of view about why he wanted to indicate that both are different, but on the other hand, I also kind of like considering both to be something similar or close related due to when you come to publisher and distributor. So what actually happened? Well, the first good news, I mean, like we have to have a little bit of taste of sweetness, even though I know some people will not like it to have a bad news later on, but the bad news is not as bad as you guys might think if you think logically. So it will backfire on those people, the bad news itself. I mean, like if the bad news can implode on its own, would it consider bad news? Well, maybe in future we'll give it away and see approach. But the first news, again, I have been covering about localization, translation topic for the past quite a long while, and the last time I covered about it is actually for some reason it became related to DEI somehow, some way, somewhat, and I've been because of the thing that kind of like flow to a bigger rabbit hole or deeper rabbit hole, whatever you want to call it, along the line. And when you realize that DEI for some reason play a part, that will be like, what am I even consider reading along this time? So translation, we know very well that sometimes when it comes to from Japanese to English, there will always be some sort of misunderstanding or hard to translate word, because often more than not, a lot of like one English word can be translated to a lot of Japanese word. Vice versa, a lot of Japanese word, one Japanese word itself can translate into many words. So you have to understand that it is not easy doing translation. I have worked as a part-time in translation, so I know it very well up close that how hard it can be. But on the other hand, I also kind of been covering about AI stuff, like AI replacing localizer or translation job, where a lot of people are very happy because of how badly the localizer had been trying to so-called doing vandalism to manga and anime over the past few years. Some people have claimed to be decades already. That is considered debatable because of the translation at the time to versus now, and at this era where technology and translator is such an easy thing to get, like especially online translation, there's no excuse or to kind of like just say that, oh, I don't understand Japanese, I'm going to change the whole damn script and make it into my own along the line. So there is a lot of people who are making noise about localizer acting like they are translator, but when they don't, they either they don't like the anime or the manga or the game, and they don't understand Japanese and they change the whole damn script to make it into their own, and that always rub a lot of people the wrong way because they want the original Japanese version, they want it close to the source, not people adding their so-called idea, propaganda, or their own stupid joke and into the manga, anime, and game series, and people will be like, what the hell am I even reading? It's like, is it even true? I mean, like, once in a while, if it's related to the game, we can understand if there's a reference to the joke in a way. But if there is like totally out of logic or out of people understanding, I think it's best to just throw it out the window and don't even think about hiring a localizer if they're going to just destroy the game, manga, or anime along the line. I covered this a lot of time, and the way a localizer has always been trying to justify their translation is so damn bad that I even have to do a video about it. And more so, I even have quite a lot of topic I talk about localization for the past quite long while. I mean, the last time I actually talked was few months back, and I haven't been covering about translation because it's like they kind of like lay low, and for some reason DEI, they link the topic kind of linked to DEI along the line. So in a way, I actually did cover back then about it, like a company, but the publisher decided, you know what, we're not gonna hire localizer, we're just gonna use AI to do translation. And at that time, I kind of like give both point of view. One would say that they are happy that at least the translation will be as close as to the source. to the Japanese version, whereas there are also a group of people who are not very happy because they will be losing their job. Now, if the translator are doing a good job on translation, obviously people will defend them. People will say that, hey, we shouldn't be using AI to replace job. But when the localizer had did their own house, their own home, their own abyss, or whatever you want to call it, on their poor translation, obviously people won't be happy about it, and obviously people will say that what is the best second alternative to this whole ordeal? AI. So obviously people will just say, hey, AI is a good thing, because the good news is top manga publishers decided to invest in AI translation startup. And that what got a lot of people happy about, because not only will we not get any more trash in people's mindset, is trash translation, at least there won't be, hopefully, no DEI whatsoever when it comes to translation, because it'll be as close as possible to the original source. Now, there is still another issue on this whole ordeal about AI translation, is that we sometimes AI, we just kind of like, if anyone would use Google translation or DEPL translation, obviously we will know sometimes that the translation is not to a perfect or to 100%. There will always be that kind of little bit error or whatsoever. So it's the reason why that we have to understand that a human translation must be in hand. So when they say that they're going to use AI translation, what I'm going to take it is that they're just using AI as a tool. So I've been saying that using AI as a tool should be the thing, that a human must operate the AI. And let's say, for example, if they're going to use like a manga and have AI just translate the whole damn thing, not only will it be faster, at least the book of the English version of the manga will be out to the Western area faster. But on the other hand, having a human to kind of like proofread every single thing, check like is there anything that seems off, or the story doesn't seem close to the source enough, and maybe there is some sort of error during the translation by the AI, at least there will be some sort of intervention by then to prevent everything to be done by AI. At least you still, not only are you still hiring some good localizer, but you can at least ensure that AI can like you can still cater to everyone saying that, hey, AI is still doing the translation and it's just that human is doing the proofread whatsoever, and everyone will be happy. And if the person who doing the translation, the localizer, is a DEI or wanting to add their own propaganda or whatsoever thing, right? Yeah, better don't let them near this industry ever again. So what? All in all, I would definitely say why a lot of people, like even in Hero Hei, and a lot of people saying that this is a big win, is because we are removing the trash localizer in what people have been voicing over the past few months. Mind you guys, this has been ongoing for very long, and now you're finally considering that top manga publishers, it's not one top publisher, but as so I'm gonna assume that a lot of company will be like, hey, let's use AI along the line, because a lot of people will be saying like, hey, AI is the new trend, using AI. I know a lot of people are saying that AI is also not a good thing, which again I mentioned having a human intervention would be a good thing. But on the other hand, if we consider like the benefit and the con of the whole then thing, the good thing is that because in the past translation take a long time, it can take few months to a year for a manga to be translated into the English version and be released to the Western audience. Well, at the same time, if you think about it, having AI done everything within like weeks or month would be a good thing. At least the Western will be able to read the manga faster in English version. But the issue with that at the same time will also mean that, are we really ensuring that we are hiring a lot of people to do those kind of things? Because if everything is, like I mentioned, if everything is being done by AI and they are replacing a lot of people's job using AI, then it means that there will be less job for localizer. Obviously, when I say less job for localizer, a lot to localizer, or maybe those who want to work in this industry will have less opportunity, or maybe it's what many people would love to, because considering that the trash translation by many localizer has been up there over the year. But we can't deny that the part that there are still people out there who is doing a very good and fair job on doing translation. It's just that often more than not, we always tend to look at the bad stuff or the bad rotten egg, that we actually overlooking all those good ones. But can we actually say that all the good ones are not as innocent as we might think? Who knows? As long as they don't do a bad job, I don't think that I don't think they deserve this kind of situation if they get laid off, because we'll definitely be making noise about it. But on the other hand, there are those who lose their job due to AI, or maybe and I say and again is that, and if in the case that they are the one who've been doing trash translation all this while, then I think it's fair for them to just keep quiet, go to the fall into the irreverent abyss, who knows where. So at this point of time, I wouldn't really say that is it fair for everyone, because in the same there will be some sort of collateral damage out there, and those who shouldn't be getting the brunt of the damage will still get the damage somehow, some way, somewhat. Now, in regards to the bad news, apparently, American company called Blackstone they are going to acquire Japan's largest e-manga site for a USD of 1.7 billion, and they say it's to compete against Sony Music and KKR and company. But when you kind of look at these all three companies where they are saying like they're going to compete against each other, one funny interesting thing that Hero Hei actually pointed out, for all three of them, apparently they have the DEI in their slogan or whatsoever, point indicating like, oh, diversity, equality, and what I can't recall the I, whatever it is. So we don't really need to worry too much for now, because what a lot of people need to understand that e-manga site is not the publisher. Publisher is the one that is doing the translation. So if the publisher is not going to use localizers for translation, and they're going to make sure that AI will do most of the work from now on, then we don't need to worry about your favorite manga or my favorite manga or anime manga or game or whatever up there to be translated in the wrong way. Because the one thing we'll definitely be happy is that at least now we'll be glad that maybe AI with some human intervention will be doing the translation along the line. Now, what does this has to do with distributor? When you do talk about like game, anime, manga, there is the company that make the things, and then there is the publisher, which is basically to do like check through to give it to the consumer along the line. So the main company is there, and then the publisher is lower there. Now, below publisher is that they always tend to work with distributor. Like let's say it can be a physical shop, like in Akihabara, or maybe your bookstore near your house. Those are distributed in a way. They are like shop. They are something like retailer, if you want to use another word of it. So they are kind of like distributing to the audience. They are called the distributor. But what is the problem with distributor in a way as compared to publisher? Again, I mentioned publisher is the one who do the translation. So at least we a lot of us will be thinking along the line that, hey, even if the manga do not have the DEI or bad translation on it, the distributor can't will just take it and sell it. What's the problem? Obviously, a lot of people are very scared due to the reason that, a very simple reason is that, imagine if the company decided to step in and do their own translation along the line. Well, that won't make them along the line of being a distributor. They are not publisher, so they have no right to do the translation whatsoever. But on the other hand, when you think about it, there is also the chance of them doing their own editing or their own changes along the line that we won't be aware of. So even if the publisher had give them, like if the let's say for example the manga company done the whole manga already, and then they give it to the publisher to be released to the mass, and the publisher will like, okay, take a look and see which one need editing or which one doesn't seem right. They will do a little bit of editing, and let's say for example if this is gonna be given to the overseas, they will be doing the translation and change it to the English version, and then they will give it to the distributor being the one who going to sell to everyone in the consumer way. Now, the issue with that is that the distributor can choose not to distribute the thing. They got the right. So let's say for example, if the manga they are supposed to distribute and they say that, hey, this one seems to be against our DEI moral, or it's not what we want, they can actually highlight this to the publisher, and the publisher will have to do the changes before selling it. So that in a sense can cause delay, that can cause problem, and people will like, what happened to the manga or the anime or the game, because the distributor will be like, hey, we don't want to distribute this along the line. And if they choose not to distribute because it's against their DI, then that will be a whole new another story and a whole new problem. And that is what caused a lot of people to be worried about, because distributor can hold the product in a way. I know there will be some people saying that there's a law saying that it can't or whatever, but when it comes to them, right, they can highlight it back to the publisher and they can hold the product on hostage in a way, and that can cause a lot of people to be afraid of. But with how Japan having a lot of website or e-manga site up there already, it's just that just because they bought the Japan largest one doesn't mean there is no other e-manga site. And at most it'll be at most if this fail, the company that acquire will be like losing money overall, because other people will just jump ship along the line. If you don't like that site, you go to another site. And this is one of the reasons why I love Japan. A lot of different apps or places that allow us to look at different manga, or sometimes they have different manga attribute. Like in Japan, one of the one that I tend to use is Nico Nico Manga. And yet on the other hand, there are also other manga site that I tend to use. Sometimes the original publisher of Japan, when they release, like even to the Shoei Jump, if they have the Japanese version, I will go and take a look no matter what. So often more than not, that it's always good to have different egg in different basket along the line. Is that sometimes if one fail, you have another backup to check things out. And in this case, just in the case they decided to add in their propaganda DI whatsoever to the manga, it will backfire on them badly. And obviously there is still other way for manga to be distributed to the audience, because if people don't like the digital version, they can just go and buy physical version. There's no issue with it. If they can't understand, they can learn Japanese, read the original Japanese version, be done with it. So at the end of the day, it's really like they are just, if the company really want to make huge money, they would ensure that the flow do not let DI step into it, because at the end of the day, people are mad about DI stuff already. I mean, like, it's not that everyone is mad about it. As long as the thing had a limit, ensure that everything is flowed nicely, and if people are gonna be offended of it, if it's just a minority group, just let them make noise. They will be making noise forever. I mean, like, who know how long when those kind of people make noise, and it's just that social media gives them the power for some stupid reason. And if so, just let them make noise. There's no issue, because there will be a lot more people supporting it at the end of the day. Do you want to do you want 1% of the people to support you, or do you prefer the all remaining 99 people to support you? That's a very good question for the higher up to understand, because if they listen to the 1%, the other 99% of the people will just quit, and you're gonna lose all the money at that point of time. I mean, I look at a lot of contributors who decided to add in bad translation or DEI whatsoever, and what does it cost to them? A lot of loss because people just decided to say, hey, that's it, I'm not going to support this company along the line. So at the end of the day, is it a good is it considered bad news? Maybe yes, maybe no, maybe I don't know. But it's something that I feel like it will be depending on what the company will be doing from then on, because there is still not much information. But the only thing is that I know a lot of people are concerned about the DEI and whatnot. As long as they don't really kind of like add in too more propaganda whatsoever, I think there is still hope for such a thing. I mean, like, giving the benefit of doubt, I always tend to be hopeful. But on the other hand, I can also see the failure if the company decided to go at that route, the route that I just mentioned. So at the end of the day, it's still back to how we all look at the whole situation. And again, that is all my speculative thought, just a random check. If you have your own thought, your own view, your own thing, just write in the comment below, we can discuss it further. But till then, don't forget to press the like button if you do like this video, and subscribe for more random chat where I talk about stuff that I never follow on second channel, or sometimes it may be totally random, who knows. But the one thing I do know is that I hope you guys have a nice day or night. Bye.